There you go. Intel is going to have a VR headset that is out that has zero wires. Zero
Intel.
wires. Intel.
I heard Steiner's real happy with them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, did you get any additional information on this, or was
No.
it just like kind of some announcement that Intel's working on the wireless headset?
I'm not too interested in details with VR right now. When it's out and there's details, that's when I'm interested about it, to be honest.
Well, yeah.
I'll be interested in VR when it's affordable.
Wireless makes sense.
Yeah, because having a wire on your head while you're not really looking at
Yeah.
anything is kind of shitty.
Well, you can trip over it. You can all sorts of fucking shit and fuck shit up horribly.
Yes.
Like if you can actually, but the thing is, the wireless doesn't like. I don't understand how Intel would have really anything directly to do with the wireless portion of it.
No, they're building the headset itself, and it's just going to have no wires.
Well, I know, but the thing, like, it would still have to be the tech to actually beam like quad HD resolutions to a headset is going to take a lot of technology, which I guess Intel would have, but just the bandwidth of that to do wirelessly is just pretty fucking insane. You're talking about like 12 gigs a second.
Oh, that's why I don't like even
or gigabits a second.
VR is very weird to me because it's cool in concept, but fuck, it sucks. I give zero shits about it. There's no good games for it. There's no.
Well, okay, that's
not totally
because there's no direct market. It's not like there are
there
good
could
games.
be one good. No, there's not. There's like existing games that you can play with it.
You know what though? I still consider the whole VR concept to still be in like a beta.
But it's not.
Phase.
It's not.
It kind of
pretty much is. Game wise is 100% still in beta.
Like people are
hardware
still,
wise, they're pretty much in Gen 1, which like what's Gen 1 for video games? Like fucking Atari 2600?
Pong.
We'll see.
Like that's what you're like.
Okay, well,
it's going to be an evolution.
Let's make a direct evolution then. Motion controls. Bam. Where did that go? Nowhere.
I wouldn't say
because it doesn't directly work unless you're up and moving. Like there were some fairly good motion control games, at least for the PlayStation.
Of course,
Plus.
there's good games. Look, one of my favorite games ever of the last generation was Dance Central. I played the shit out of Dance Central, but Kinect, motion controls in general, And I'm not saying that that's what VR is going to end up being, but so far it's kind of underwhelming. In all terms, like not even just video games, just VR in general.
I think the only reason why I wouldn't say it's underwhelming, but if I were to use that word, it would only be because of how expensive it is and how little there is to do with it right now.
Well, the thing, like, even when this generation of consoles came out, what the fuck was there to play?
There's a bit.
This generation, not too much, but the PS3 and the Xbox had, the 360 had plenty of shit.
The thing is, at least for the PS3,
and those
Sony put out a lot of shit at launch.
It's not like you were at launch at the PS4 going like, well, fuck, this thing's never going to work. Look at it. There's nothing on it. Like you were like, the controllers were better. The hardware was better. It just needed the games. This needs more
and that's what you're talking
that.
about.
It's
Is
not
the
just
games.
No, this needs the games.
That's exactly what you're saying.
Exactly.
No,
you're changing your argument now.
No, because there's a bazillion. No, there's a bazillion games on VR right now. They just all suck.
Right. So it'll take some time for good developers to make good
We'll
VR
see.
games.
I'm not confident.
You know what, though?
I am not confident that there's going to be good games.
From what I've seen, they don't suck. There's just not a lot to them.
A lot of them are tech demos because they need to understand the technology and how shit would work. So they just make a very simple,
We'll see.
I've seen some really cool VR games.
Like, I want to kind of say the word cheap, but a very simple, very quick game to understand how the fuck this shit works. Because they've never done anything like this. Last time anything like this has ever been done, people's eyes were fucking bleeding because of Nintendo.
Something else too is I don't see VR being like a thing where you sit down for 2 minutes and then you're done. And that's what a lot of the shit is right now.
Because for the most part, everything's a demo right now.
Again,
Even if it
again,
doesn't, even if they're not called
I am
demo,
just saying, I'm
everything
not
pretty much-
confident that they are going to make games that are actually going to be good. Sure,
I think it's way
they're
too
go-
early
Well,
to
They're
assume
porting
that.
Doom into
Well, original
VR.
Doom.
no, like
Okay.
Doom 2016.
Okay, because original Doom you can do it already. That's a thing.
Well, yeah,
I would love
but
to
yeah,
try
well,
that.
'cause Carmack just sat down for 5 minutes and boosted.
Oh no,
that
no,
motherfucker
no,
out.
that's a fan thing. That
Oh,
Doom thing is
okay.
a fan made thing. Yeah.
No, but they're porting Fallout 4 and
Yeah.
Doom to VR.
Again, who cares?
Well, the thing, those are
I think-
good games. If you
I
can
think
actually
people-
get it to work
yeah.
properly and have that to actually port a game that already exists into VR to figure out how the fuck to make it work in VR, will carry over to the next generation of games.
I think that you ask who cares. I think the people that own VR hardware
the thing
care.
is, that is such a small
But
percentage.
that's the thing. I think the problem with VR right now is that they need to figure out how to get the hardware out to people that don't have it right now, or they need to market it, and they need to, I don't know, do something, or have. They need more games.
The only way that this
They
sells
need more
is
games.
no. The
Yeah.
only way that this sells is if you see it yourself. That's the only way. You can't go like, oh well, it's like you're in. It's like you put this thing in, and then you're in another room.
You're
It's like-
right, but that's why they like almost every convention you go to now has
Oh, no, but
setups.
that's
Even
existed for a
setting up-
bazillion. They need those at like
Yeah.
Best Buys and shit, and like
They-
where you
they're
buy
setting
it.
up in the
Eventually, I think
States.
they will have that.
In the US, they already have VR stations set up.
Mhm,
Yeah.
and they're like
Now, that's in the
they're
States.
phone stuff but for the most
No,
part.
no. Like Vive.
No, they have legit like
Okay.
Vives and
Okay.
and the other ones that.
No, I do think
I
it's
can't
very
remember.
limited, and typically in large population areas. But Vive was sending shit to Best Buy to have them have demos to get orders and stuff like that.
I think it's
and then you
way
get pink
too.
eye.
I think it's
That's
still way too early to assume that it's gonna fail or not gonna do well.
Like it just needs some time
It's
now.
so
because
young. It's
I'm not
such
even
a young-
really assuming anything. I'm just saying right now it's not that great, and I don't know if they're ever going to do anything. That's all I'm saying. I'm not even saying definitive things. I'm just saying I don't
Like,
know if it's going. I don't know if
sounded
VR
pretty-
is
you
going
sounded pretty
anywhere.
definitive.
No, I don't know if VR
like
is
there
going
are
anywhere
certain things that works
for
like,
games. For games.
Racing games works.
Yeah, yes,
so
racing.
terribly fucking
Anything
well.
where you're just in one spot and the thing is moving around you is awesome. Racing games is definitely the thing. Space
Yeah.
games where you're flying,
Space
like
game,
anything.
yeah. So, well, I guess that's
anything
so I
where,
guess
where you're in a
no.
cockpit.
Oh my god, I would love to play
Um,
Ace Combat.
that battle.
Ace Combat on the
yeah.
PS4, yes,
That'd be
that's
amazing.
that's definitely one of the games that could be cool on the PS4.
Star Wars
VR
Battlefront, Rogue something was
Squadron.
announced. Rogue Squadron,
Rogue Squadron.
which is going to be a tie-in with the movie and then going to be put out in VR.
No, well,
So you're
isn't that
flying
VR
around
thing
an
just a
X-Wing.
VR like gimmick thing? Pretty sure that's Star Wars thing.
No, it's going to be a full-out space battle
Yeah.
that you're controlling in Battlefront.
All right.
Whereas, and then guys, there's that Star Trek thing that Ubisoft.
Star Trek VR or whatever. it is. That's
That's bad.
interesting-ish, but
I mean, the thing about that is that I don't think it's as good as people think, but it kind of.
well, the thing is, it
shows
again,
that there's a
saying
lot of
is you're
potential
in-
there.
You're in a place, and you're sitting around, and you can move and
Yeah.
do the consoles and do this and do that.
My favorite
So
part.
it's just for fucking hardcore Trek fans to go.
My
Can we
fa-
screen cap
I
that
can
face?
stand beside 7 of 9.
That was awesome. I want to screen cap that face. Make that shit a meme.
Man, now I totally lost what I was gonna say.
It was probably going to be something you were going to change
I'm
late in
pretty
10 minutes
confident
anyways.
that they're going to put out a really good VR game. Now the thing is typical like porting Fallout 4 or Doom into VR. I don't know if that's going to work because they were never designed to work in VR.
But if anyone can make it work, it's Bethesda.
That's why I said, who cares? Who fucking cares about playing the new
You
Doom
say
in
who
VR?
cares about so
who
many
who
things,
cares
though? It
about
really
playing a
loses
new
its meaning.
VR game about that new Doom in VR? Because you can play it right now. and it's awesome.
If we had our own merchandise,
nobody has a
for
fucking
Fresh Air is
nobody.
overrated, your
Nobody
shirt would
at
say,
home.
who cares?
Nobody at home has a fucking VR headset and goes, "Hey, wouldn't it be awesome if that new Doom was on this?" Nobody. There's nobody that is saying that right now.
Yeah. Right now.
Now, the
But
issue
this
that I
still-
have with the whole VR thing is that there's two sections of it. It's like the games that you're then sitting there and just looking around. And then I much prefer the actual ones that you're getting up and doing something. But the issue with that is how the fuck...
You need a holodeck for that.
Who has the room, and B, the holodeck of like, how do you get to that place? And that's the issue that they're having, is that right now you're pointing your wand and clicking a button and you're like jetting from one place to another. So you're not actually moving around. But once you get to that place, you have like 4 or 5 feet of mobility within that space.
A lot of the games too that I saw that did that is like it's teleporting for the most part. Like the games that do actually move. I like the games that you actually like move when you click where you're going.
Now,
those look cool.
I can't remember what the fuck it's called, but it's that track that you're like set into this thing, and you have special shoes, and you're actually running. And
I don't know what it's called, but I know what you're talking about.
Having something like that along in with the VR headset and I think is where the future is. So you're able to move, but you're not actually needing a huge area. You're only needing like hand width each direction and like full straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And then your movement is coming from that tray.
The first time I tried VR too, they had a hand sensor tied to the headset. So like when I reach my hand out in front of me, I would like actually see it in the game.
Yeah.
So like stuff like that is definitely needed instead of like actual controllers. Just have your hands out would be way cooler. All right, here's another video.
Once you can actually implement. Sorry.
No, go for it. Go for it.
Well, just once you can actually implement how to move around correctly in a game, I see VR doing very well.
Yeah.
It's
not a home thing. It's not a home thing.
Cost.
Like it's not a home thing.
Then you're talking about the whole thing of like fucking pink eye and like how do you have this thing and you're sweating into this thing for
but
hours
it's like,
on end
hey, I would love to have laser tag at home.
You can have laser tag at home.
I could, but it's a shitty version of
Ubisoft
laser
did it
tag.
like 3 or 4 years ago, did they not? They had a couple of guys running around E3 shooting each
There's,
other.
there's a scoreboard on the computer so you can look at the computer screen. It's like, oh my god, look at
Something like that.
it. That's what it was. Okay, so the trailer that I brought up earlier, we're going to watch it now, actually.